Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and I am so excited to be sharing our Disney World vlog with you today. We just spent a week in Florida for our February break and we could not have enjoyed ourselves more. We started off our trip on Sunday afternoon, getting checked into our timeshare, taking a long swim, and then going out for dinner. Our timeshare is centrally located in Orlando, so we were able to get to all of the parks within 15 to 20 minutes, which was really convenient. And we had a full condo with a working washer and dryer, a full kitchen, 2 full bathrooms, 2 full bedrooms, as well as a pull-out couch, a sofa couch, and a beautiful view of the resort and the pool. It was like a home away from home. Let's go ahead and take a quick tour. So we were on the 4th floor, which was really nice because we didn't have anybody above us making any noise. And when you first came into the condo, you could go immediately to the right and there was a bathroom, which came off of this bedroom here, which is where my oldest son and Michaela's boyfriend were sharing a room. And they had this cool bathroom that opened up both to the hallway and to the bedroom, so it was private for them, but it was also available for others. Here I am in my swimsuit. We were preparing to go downstairs, but they had their own bathroom, which was really nice for them to get ready in the morning and to shower at night. And then you came out of that bedroom to a dining room, a full dining room that fit 6 people, which was great, with 3 additional seats there at the island, a full-blown kitchen and washer and dryer, which was great. My mother-in-law and I went to Walmart this night, got a bunch of food, breakfast and snacks and everything for the parks, and it allowed for us to only have to eat 1 full meal in the parks, which was great. That sofa couch there pulled out, and that's where Griffin and Ryan slept. And this was the primary bedroom where Danny and I slept, which was really nice. The bed was so comfortable, especially since I brought my body pillow. And we had our own beautiful bathroom with a really gorgeous shower, and it was just a very comfortable space to spend the week. And it really did feel like a little home away from home. My in-laws had a separate condo, and they were in the building right next to us, which is where Michaela and Ronan stayed, which was really great. They had a beautiful condo, same size. The only difference was they didn't have a washer and dryer. So here's the view from our deck, our porch here. You can see the pool. I could hear my kids playing there. And then they also had down on the bottom these great checkers and chess boards, as well as putt-putt golf that could be used. There was also a game room with ping pong and pool and some arcade games. It was a perfect little home away from home.
We're going to dig into it, huh? All right. You do not want to see my up there. You don't want to see my hair.
When the food gets here, it's all going to be gone in seconds.
After the kids swam for a couple of hours, we got dressed and headed out to dinner. One of our favorite restaurants from Las Vegas is actually here in Orlando as well, and that is Hot and Juicy, which is a crawfish and seafood restaurant. So we definitely went to town and stuffed ourselves. It was so good. Our first day in the parks was Monday, and we started off at Hollywood Studios. If you are familiar with Disneyland, this is the park very, very similar to California Adventure. This is such a great park. The kids were so excited. This is home of Star Wars Land, the Rise of the Resistance ride, which is the one we started at. We did decide to rope drop this day. We rope dropped every day that we were there. And basically what that means is that you're at the park before the park opens. So I would highly recommend you don't get there any later than a half an hour before the park opens. You want to be in line 30 minutes before they open the gates. So that way you are ready to go to your first ride. We did have Genie Plus, which is a whole experience. It's their new way of doing fast passes, if you will. It is an additional expense. We didn't do it every single day. However, I will say moving forward, we will always plan and budget for that because it makes a huge difference in your day. So we started with Rise the Resistance, which can typically have up to a 2-hour wait. This ride is a whole entire experience. It's a good 20 minutes or so, and it's a really cool ride. It can be a little bit triggering for some at the beginning because you are kind of taken captive, if you will. So my kiddos get a little bit anxious, but it is very, very cool. And the ride itself is something I have never experienced before. I will say I've noticed now that a lot of the new rides are kind of like this, with kind of the magnetic floor and that kind of thing. The Ratatouille ride at Epcot is very, very similar, but this is just a super cool ride. And if you can get there early and bust your booty to get there, first thing, we were in and out of this ride in less than an hour. Next up, we headed over to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This ride was our first Genie Plus ride, and I had planned originally to use our first Genie Plus selection on the Slinky Dog roller coaster. However, it was booked before I could get it, so it's such a race in the morning to try to get those things booked, but I was able to book this ride. This ride is so very fun. With our Lightning Lane, we waited in line for about 15 minutes to ride this, which is great considering I think the wait was somewhere in the 90 minutes. So this is a really fun ride, again, with the magnetic floor, and it just is so vibrant. The colors are vibrant. It's really fun, and a ride like nothing else I've ever ridden. We love this one. The way that Genie Plus works is you can have up to 2 Genie Plus reservations at a time. However, you can't book one until you've waited 120 minutes. So you book one, you wait 120 minutes, or until you use that one, then you can book another. I was able to book between 4 and 5 Genie Plus reservations each day that we purchased it, and it did, like I said, make a huge difference in our wait time. So if you can afford it, if you can budget for it, I would recommend it. This was our first time ever doing it. They didn't have it when we went the last time, but it does make a really big difference. So if you can schedule for it and budget it into your plan, I would recommend it. Do some research. There's some really great blogs out there. I'll link a few that I use down below. These are the blogs that I use when I'm planning for our day and what we're going to do. I never go into the park without a plan. We always have a plan, and that's what allows for us to get the most done. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend that. So once this Genie Plus ride was done, we headed on over to Toy Story Land. We got in line and rode the Alien Saucer ride, and then we had our second Genie Plus Lightning Lane, which was for Toy Story Mania. This is a huge hit in my family. We all love this ride. This ride is one of those that's both a lot of fun, and it's also incredibly engaging because you're actually interacting with the ride. You get to play games, and it's very fun and competitive. We tried to do all the rides that everybody could ride since my in-laws are with us as well. We wanted to make sure we weren't doing anything they couldn't ride. Then it was time for snacks. We spent our time every single day having some kind of sweet cold treat. It was hot, definitely warm in the high 80s and the low 90s. So we all enjoyed frozen lemonade as well as ice cream sandwiches. And that was an everyday snack. We got these in every park that we were at. Next up was the Frozen show. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you ever go to Hollywood Studios, do not skip out on the Frozen show. I wish that I could play the music. It's a sing-along show, so the whole entire audience sings, and it's so very funny. The two narrators are stand-up comedians for sure. This is probably one of my absolute favorite things at Disney World is this show. It's just incredible, and my kids love it, and the ending is just so very magical, which you're about to see here. It's just, I don't know, it gives me chills rewatching it, and everybody in my family loves it. My in-laws were not super excited about sitting through a show, but I told them they had to. They could not miss this one, and they loved it. Just wait for the faces. After the Frozen show, the boys all headed over to go ride Tower of Terror, so Michaela and I headed over to Starbucks, and we got ourselves a sweet treat. Fun fact, you can use a Starbucks gift card in the Starbucks within the parks as well as a Disney gift card. So Michaela had a Disney gift card. She bought us coffee and we enjoyed that while the boys were riding the scary ride. We watched all of the fun animals all around. There's always birds and ducks, and just watch for all the animals. There's always so many around. And then we met up with the boys over at Star Tours and rode this oldie but goodie. This is one of the first rides I remember riding as a kid. Not the Star Tours here, but the one at Disneyland. I remember always being too little, never being able to put my feet down on the ground, and my butt just kind of sliding out of the seat. In between Star Tours and our last ride of the night, we decided to go wait in line for Slinky Dog. This is a super fun roller coaster. It's actually one of our favorite rides, but it is a really long line, and I was not able to get a Lightning Lane return using Genie Plus for this, so that was okay. We waited in the line. The only bummer that you have to know about that is that all of your party has to be in line with you when you're waiting, so you can't get in line while everybody goes and rides something else. So I appreciate that because it does kind of keep the line moving. However, it did make for a really long line. So when we were done with Slinky Dog, we just kind of walked around and enjoyed the lights at night. And then we headed over to Star Wars Land to enjoy our last Genie Plus selection for the night. The sunset was absolutely gorgeous. Everything was just looking so beautiful. And at this point, it was already after 7 and the sun hadn't fully set. We were so blessed to have the sky looking so beautiful still. Back in New England, it was definitely dark already, but we were enjoying this. So we headed over to Smuggler's Run to have our last Genie Plus selection of the night, and then it was time to head back to the hotel. Tuesday was our Magic Kingdom day. Again, another day that I was up bright and early. I think I was up at 4 a.m. this day, making our plan. I didn't originally plan for us to purchase Genie Plus this day. However, my father-in-law was gracious enough to offer to pay for everybody for that day because it really did make such a huge difference. So I was up bright and early, rearranging our schedule, making sure that I purchased Genie Plus for the day, making our first selection for our Lightning Lane, and then we made sure that we were out of the timeshare into the park for rope drop. We did rope drop Adventureland this time and start off at Jungle Cruise, another ride that the line can get super duper long. But again, I wanted to start the day doing all of the rides that my in-laws could ride and none of the stuff that they couldn't. We saved that for later. So we started off with Jungle Cruise, which is one of those beloved rides for everyone. And this was Troy's first trip through the jungle. He had never been to Disneyland or World before, so we were excited to bring him along.
Every day, the one, the only, the eighth wonder of the world.
The backside of water.
That's my job. The backside of water.
After Jungle Cruise, we stayed in this side of the park and headed over to Frontierland, where we rode the Pirates of the Caribbean. We had such a fun time looking for Captain Jack Sparrow everywhere we could find him. This again is another fan favorite. The line does always move very quickly though, so don't waste your Genie Plus selections on this ride. You can fit a lot of people in the boat and it does go really quickly. So I will say I do prefer the Disneyland version much better, but it is a good one. Next up, we did the Haunted Mansion, and we had such a great time on this ride, although my kiddos always get so spooked. Ryan was my buddy. He rode almost every single ride with me on this entire trip. But one cool thing was we were super nice to the people that work there. We're always very nice to the cast members. And she actually went and found us in line and put us into the lightning lane for free, which was wonderful. We didn't have a lightning lane selection, but just paid to be nice. So that was really, really great. But again, this is a ride we all love, another fan favorite, and one that does get a long line, but that typically goes pretty quickly. So I wouldn't have used a Genie Plus selection on this one, but it is a good one. My first Genie Plus selection, I did pick the Peter Pan ride. My in-laws were actually here the month after the park opened, 50 years ago, 51 years ago now. And this was one of their very first rides. So it was very nostalgic for them. So I wanted to make sure that we were on this while they were here. And it did warm up in the day pretty quickly. They did not stay the whole time. They were able to head back to the hotel and enjoy the pool and just kind of relax and enjoy their vacation. So I tried to make sure we did all of the things that they could enjoy nice and early on in the day. So I'm glad that we were able to get on this one for them. Plus, it is a really cute ride. After we were done with Peter Pan, we headed over to the Dumbo ride, another one that you have to do if you've got little kids. But a cool thing about the Dumbo ride here at Disney World is that they have an indoor play place where you wait until you are called to get into line. So that was great. It was air conditioned. My kids got to run around and play. They didn't just have to be stuck in line, which was really nice. And of course, we always have a good time on this ride. We also rode the Brainstormer, which is their version of the Goofy Sky School. Super fun. Next up, we headed over to the castle where I had used our Genie Plus selection for special seating for the parade. This was so cool. My kids were like, I don't know if I want to watch a parade. And then they were all into it. They were so excited. We had the best seats you could ever imagine having. We were right in front of the castle and we could see everything so well. And the kids all got waved at while we were sitting and waiting for the parade to start, because we did have to be there half an hour early. We did get some ice cream and some popsicles and just enjoyed the view of the castle. But that is one thing I will say. If you plan to watch the parade, use your Genie Plus selection for this, because otherwise you are just kind of sitting on the curb for 2 hours before the parade. I've done that 100 times before, and this was just a billion times easier and better, and how can you even beat that view? When the parade was over, we headed over to Big Thunder Mountain, where we had another Genie Plus Lightning Lane to use. So this was our next ride. Again, a big favorite of ours. We love that ride. Then we headed over to the Speedway in Tomorrowland. This is the Disney World version of Autopia, and my kids all love this ride because they get to drive the car, which is always fun. We were definitely getting tired at this point, but we still wanted to make sure we did Space Mountain and the Buzz Lightyear ride before we headed home and called it a day. So we finished off with Speedway, then we went over to Space Mountain and finished off the day with the Buzz Lightyear ride.
You'll be riding.
Grounded.
People are walking.
Oh, look at these. Look at these.
Wednesday, we started off at Epcot and made sure that we rope dropped as usual, and then hustled our way all the way to the very back of the park, where we started off with the new Ratatouille ride. What a beautiful ride. So well thought of. Just absolutely incredible. Another one of those great rides with the magnetic ground. So incredibly thoughtful. It is a 3D ride where you ride inside of a mouse, or on the back of a mouse, I suppose, and you go into the kitchen with Remy, which is so fun. And you do wear your glasses, your little 3D glasses, so everything's going to look a little bit funky when you're watching it here because it is 3D for us while we were riding, but so very cool. So you start off here on the roof, and Remy's trying to decide what he's going to cook for you, and then you head down into the kitchen and you try so hard not to get caught. After we were done with the Remy Ratatouille ride, we did head over to Arendelle over in Norway, where we got in line for the Frozen line. Now, this was our first day that we didn't use Genie Plus, and what a regret. Oh my goodness. The lines were crazy. However, we were able to get into the virtual queue for the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster, and thank goodness for that. It's the only way you can ride. It was incredible. Oh my gosh. Hands down, the best ride that Disney has right now. It was so incredibly fun. However, the lines were really long, so we didn't do as much in this park as we wanted to. I would say we spent about half of the day here. We were able to ride the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. We rode Frozen. We also rode a couple of other items. And then we headed back to the timeshare, called it an early day, and enjoyed the pool.
Animal Kingdom.
Thursday was our final day in the park, and again, we made sure that we were there 30 minutes early and we rope dropped the park. This is the one park that I would say it is not a necessity to have Genie Plus. There are only 5 rides in this park, tons of shows and things to do, but no need to have the Genie Plus for this park. We rope dropped the Flight of Passage over in Pandora. This is a super fun ride where you get to ride the back of the Banshee, which is kind of like their flying dragon or flying horse, if you will. Probably one of the coolest rides that Disney has ever created. And we love the smell and the feel of the animal breathing as you're sitting on it. It's just such a cool experience. When we were done with Flight of Passage, we headed over to the Navi River where we got to do this great boat ride. This ride is so beautiful. We did wait for a long time in this line, but it's so worth it. It's a slow ride. It's cool. It's beautiful. There's so much to look at. The music is incredible. Do not skip this ride. Don't even look at the time that it takes to wait in line. Every second of it is worth it. When we were done in Pandora, we headed over to Africa to get in line for the Kilimanjaro Safari ride. This is such a great ride. This is what makes Animal Kingdom so cool. It's like the mixture of a zoo and an amusement park. So it's really, really cool to be able to go on the safari. I'm sorry it's so bumpy. It's really bumpy when you're on this ride, but we got to see a ton of giraffes and wildebeests, zebras, elephants, hippos, rhinos, so many great animals, and they're all just kind of hanging out, which was really, really cool. This is always a fun experience at Animal Kingdom. After the safari ride, we headed over for lunch. One of the cool things about the Disney app is that you can order your lunch while you're waiting in line, and then you let them know when you're headed over to eat, and they prepare your food. We did have some visitors with us while we were eating our lunch, which was kind of cool, although some of my kids were super spooked by this. I just want to say hello to the really cool subscriber that said hello to me in Animal Kingdom on this day. I am so sorry we didn't get a chance to take a picture together. I wish we had. But if it was you that was there that day at the park, say hello down in the comments. That was such a cool experience. After we had lunch, we went over and rode the Everest ride. I didn't get any footage there. And then we also then headed over to watch the Lion King ride, or Lion King show, I'm sorry. This is such a great show. It's also a great opportunity to sit and rest and just take in the air conditioning, watch the cool show, again, a sing-along, and it's really, really fun. It's really beautiful. When we were done with this, we headed back over to Pandora to ride the Flight of Passage one more time before we called it a night. We were able to see the lighting of the Tree of Life, and it was a great end to a beautiful trip. I hope you had fun coming along with us. Thanks, my friends.